It's been a while since I've posted for you guys. It's nice to see everybody out there. I am reading Salman Rushdie's The Satanic Verses. This is sort of my Substack project at the moment. What I thought I would do is just share with you my thoughts on it one chapter at a time. I'll try not to do any real big spoilers. I'm not going to get into all the plot, but I do think it might be fun to just think about some of the imagery in each chapter and share with you what I've learned from some of the books I bought as supplements. It's magical realism. It's the story that begins with two men who are falling from an airplane. So, like, right off the bat, we're having mythic, like biblical images of falling from heaven to the earth. And so, let's get started. I purchased this study guide. It's called just Study Guide Satanic Verses by Miles Cushman. This one, I have a feeling, may have popped up after Salman Rushdie was in the news because it's extremely short chapter summaries. It's not bad, it's a very fact-based plot summary of each chapter just to orient you. I don't think it's, there's no notes to it. It's just a very bare bones outline of the book. You could probably get most of this for free on Reddit if you search some of the book club Reddits, subreddits. But it's nice. I use this to sort of reorient myself to the book after I had laid it down for a while. Because if you aren't reading it every day, it's kind of easy to just lose track of where you are in time and space. So that's fine. This is nice if you're like me and you like to write in notes in your summaries. I think it was under $12 on Amazon. This is a book I'd recommend, though. This is Vintage Living Texts, Salman Rushdie, and it's a supplemental guide to 3 books he wrote: Midnight's Children, Shame, and The Satanic Verses. And I am finding this super helpful. I just reread the notes for the front matter and chapter 1. You can see here, they just get right into, sorry, bear with me here. They get right into what the themes are: forgiveness and reconciliation, the seen and the unseen, love, magic realism, naturalism, belief in religion. But the question that made me think hardest and that I enjoyed the most was on chapter 1. So what they do is just give you ideas, things to follow up on after you read each chapter. And they suggest you focus on the names of the characters in chapter 1. So we have Jabril, who is one of the men falling to earth, the one that speaks first in kind of almost like baby talk and in different languages. Jabril, it says here, is a version of the word Gabriel in English. Farishta means angel in Urdu. What does this name suggest about Jabril's role? So if he's a falling angel, literally falling angel, does this have something to do with the story of Lucifer? This idea that Lucifer fell to earth and became the devil. Falls, in literature, you think about a fall as a transformative event. At least in that particular story of Lucifer, started as a perfect holy being and became like the devil by the end of the fall. So a descent, becoming your worst version of your worst self. Now there were 2 men falling, so then they go on to ask you, why is Saladin's surname Chamcha? Find out what the word means in Hindi. So I looked it up, and Chancha means spoon in Hindi, And it's slang for sycophant or a hanger-on or a lackey. So we have one character with an angelic name, and we have another character with a name that means like kind of a hanger-on. So these two seem to be yoked together. Maybe one is sort of divine, one is a hanger-on, good and bad, divine and profane, maybe. Uh, what about Saladin? I looked that name up. That's Arabic, and it means righteousness of the religion. So I would say if you had to buy one book as a supplement to reading, this is a really good one. The authors are Margaret Reynolds and Jonathan Noakes. It's vintage living text. It's also very reasonably priced and easy to find on Amazon. They, this is written by someone who studied literature that knows about all the importance of the various symbols. Um, but to get more into the book itself, I mean, if you've never read Rushdie before, I think you're in for a treat or a surprise. People have strong opinions about his writings. They're lyrical. I mean, they're almost prose poetry in spots. The poetic, flowery bits tend to be like in many books, towards the beginning of the book, towards the beginning of a chapter. Um, I think this first chapter, really, the men fall to earth and have some flashbacks. That is what happens, but he's sort of setting you up for how this world is going to work. He's going to dive deep into each of their brains as they're falling to earth and give us bits of memories, bits of songs, occasionally like nonsense words or words in several different languages. We're going to get literary allusions. All of this is going to be blended into the text. So what I do is I underline whatever it is that gets my attention or confuses me. And if the mood strikes me later, I look it up. When I first read Midnight's Children, I was looking up a lot simultaneously with reading the book. And now I'm more concerned with hearing the flow of the words. So I might read out loud to myself something that's meant to be sing-song just so I kind of get the gist of it. Like on page 5, this is the Picador edition, we have Gabriel or Jibril singing. Oh, my shoes are Japanese, Jibril sang, translating the old song into English in a semi-conscious deference to the uprushing host nation. These trousers English, if you please. On my head, red Russian hat. My heart's Indian for all that. Some of that is not going to strike you as rhythmic unless you say it out loud to yourself. A friend of mine is doing this book on tape, which I think is book on tape. I'm so old. Audiobook. And I think that's a really brilliant way to listen to Rushdie because, there's a lot of rhythm in here. And I think the humor might come across better if you hear someone saying the words. So I'm going to leave it at that. This is a really beautiful, image-laden first chapter. It's firmly setting this in the world of magic, in the world of religious text, in the world of mythic imagery, falling from heaven to hell. There are hints that maybe our narrator, this is written in third person, so it's an outside narrator that can hop between the heads of these different people. There's a hint that is this the devil himself narrating the book? Towards the end it says, which was the miracle worker? Of what type? Angelic? Satanic? Was Farishta song? Who am I? Let's put it this way. Who has the best tunes? And, in American life, the joke is that the devil has all the good music. Why does the devil have all the good music? That's an old saying, and I'm not even sure where it started, but the idea is that you have religious music and you have pop music and never the twain shall meet. The blues was kind of colloquial, known as the devil's music. So he's drawing on a lot of ideas and references and he's throwing them in the pot and stirring them together. But I think what we can expect is this book is about transformations, good to evil, present and past. Um, I think we can count on none of the characters being just good or just bad. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun reading on. So thanks for listening, and please do comment below. Let me know if you're reading along with me. Let me know if you've read it in the past. Let me know if you've read other books by Salman Rushdie. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And this is Lit Crush. I'm Jessamy, and I look forward to seeing you in another week. Bye.